What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this is P Valley, Season 1, Episode 2, Scars. Now, this is a new show on the STARZ network, and it's following the lives of women that work in the strip club and the dirty Delta, okay? And so, we'll see a little bit more about these ladies in this episode. If you're new to my channel, and you like reviews with a little bit of humor, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 30K subs, and hit that like, recommend this video to others. Now we're starting to learn a little more about Autumn Night, aka Haley, and that she's in trouble with Uncle Cliffy because she ain't brought ID, and he's saying, hey, you can't work here without ID. And she like, hey, well, what's going on in the champagne room? They like, hey, you need to get it together. Meanwhile, she's changing in the stalls and things. She's still nervous and shy about being around the other girls, and we see she packing heat, and she got an alcohol problem because she over here drinking in the stalls while these other girls has got their liquor license. Meanwhile, we see Debo, and he over here checking Uncle Clifford because he didn't saw in the mail that they in the hole $55,000, okay? And he's saying, hey, people need this money, this job, they depending on you. You need to get this figured out. And so Uncle Cliffy, he go out, take a little breather out in his little box Chevy with the spokes and bows. That new brother didn't know nothing about 20-inch Momo. And then we see he passed due 55 bands, and then we see Lil Murder is in his car, and Uncle Cliff thought he was about to get killed at first, but he said, and ain't nobody trying to kill you. I want you to play this music. You was already scared of the wieners. So we see that Uncle Clifford didn't do nothing with him, but he was thinking about it. Meanwhile, we see Mercedes looking good, rolling through the hood, jogging, and then we see she got her eye on this big swole Debo wannabe, and he's saying, I'm gonna make sure I'm there for that lad dime, but he on house arrest. Meanwhile, we see her mama working at the church, and she trying to get some more money from Mercedes when all of a sudden Pastor Cavassier came, and he trying to put his smooth moves on mama, talking about, why don't you get some more donations from your daughter? And then he come real smooth and pull this little feather out of her eyes, real sensual, talking about, I just saved your life. Oh yes you did. Meanwhile, we see that he's the one that's putting pressure on the mama to put pressure on Mercedes, and the guilt tripping, donating that money. Meanwhile, we see that Autumn Night is got all these IDs of some people and trying to call and check and see if their bodies have been found or whatever. So she's got a lot going on, something she trying to hide from. Meanwhile, this Andre character is at the computer, and we see that actually he is legit. He's working for some type of casino, and he's trying to get that together, but at the same time, he had to go and take another double take at Lil Ailey, okay? Meanwhile, he's going to talk to these dudes that own this land, and they are all excited to sell the land to the casino, except they got another brother that they got to deal with that ain't on board. Now, this was interesting. We see Mercedes is like some type of dance teacher for these young girls, and she just got a new place for them so they can have a facility to dance in. And what was messed up is it's always some dudes that's not, this hood, talking about, look at them booties, and they doing that to young girls. Mercedes had to chase them off. Now, it's a new character we was introduced to in this episode, pull up in the Escalade, black man love a Cadillac, and it's none other than Isaiah Washington, and he's playing the mayor of Chocalisa. And so while they there, he's there for this little car wash thing they trying to put together to raise money. It seems like that's the idea black folks always have when they need a fundraiser or a bake sale. Anyway, Uncle Clifford is mad because he want to make all the strip clubs, you got to cover up. And so he's saying, look, we could have the police come over here and shut this down. Now go on here and give me a wash, and we need to get it together. So Uncle Clifford, he upset that he's saying, how can I have a titty bar with no titties? How can I have a titty bar with no titties? Anyway, he got Mercedes and Autumn cleaning dude's car, two cutest that at the club almost. And so Mercedes needed some more little lotion stuff, and Autumn told her she ain't had none, even though she did. Now Autumn's trauma came back, because while Mercedes is getting that lotion, she got the water on there. She getting scared like she about to drown. She jump out the sunroof. She talking about, Mercedes, lock me in. And they like, no, the child lock was on, girl. Mercedes ain't lock you in. And so they like, look, I'm gonna have Mercedes take you home, okay? And so we see Mercedes still rocking the old school Camaro IROC Z up in this piece. She take her home, and Autumn ain't trying to let her see nothing and close the door. She like, I can't even get some red Kool-Aid. And so she see that basically she ain't want nobody to know that she a bum right now and struggling. And while she in there, she still looking at these pictures from this dude and her baby, and I'm wondering what happened to them. Where are they? And then we see something else that we don't really understand yet, is that Lakeisha Savage, $9,000 is getting transferred. So what's really going on? Meanwhile, we see later that night that Uncle Clifford done lost the cook. Mercedes say, don't worry, we gonna twerk, make this money. And he said, well, what about tomorrow? You leaving? And she said, well, ain't no rule number 24.5, ain't no crying in the pank. He like, she right, let's go get this money. But Mercedes, she noticed something ain't right. Now we see that while the cook gone, Cliffy, he trying to go ahead and cook, and then we see that little murder come in, and it look like he got a little recipes or whatever. And so he in there cooking and start telling him about what they need to do with the food or whatever. And so, Uncle Cliffy Pooh, he got him in there making the wings or whatever. And he like, ooh, these are good. He like, yeah, I told you. Wait till you taste my dessert. Hershey Highway, baby, yeah. And so next thing you know, we see that this other dude that was part of the brothers, he didn't want to sell. He actually wanted to lease his land, which is very smart. And while he in there talking, we see Mercedes always know who got money and who ain't. And we saw Autumn looking at him. They like, man, you wasting your time. They ain't spending no money. So she go in there and start to dance for him. And next thing you know, we see Mercedes come in trying to cock block. And she talking about, what's your name? I bet you. And they like, don't worry, you already know his name. She like, I think you are Andre. And if I know your name, I know what you like. So what you want? And he's like, I'm gonna go with the light. And she like, oh yeah, everybody can't handle, this Melanin Monroe. It was kind of funny. But anyway, it was interesting to see him talk. The guy was trying to get him on his side about leasing and give him a little kickbacks. But Andre seemed like he ain't to be bought. Now, when he was getting the lap dance the dude paid for, he saw that she had a C-section scar, and he asked if it hurt, and he said mine did. And I'm like, he had a C-section, but he said that he was born with his heart on the outside of his chest. And so he showed that, so they like scar buddies. Meanwhile, we see Cliffy Pooh out there smoking a square, and Mercedes come out, and she basically say, man, how much you owe? Man, she got money, but he said, you got 55 stacks, and she almost choked up on that one. Now, we see at the end of the night, Mercedes that had a good night. She come in with bands. I mean, these people are spending so much money in this club in this small town. You would have thought they was in Magic City in Atlanta or something. And Haley come in with 1,000 or whatever. She like, that nerd gave you 1,000? She like, yeah, I guess he wasn't all interested in business like you thought. And so basically, they starting to confront with the old school versus the new school. And so he try to break it up, and he say, why you always trying to make them feel bad and start some stuff? And why you do the next time cheat me? Anyway, where that ID at? And so she give the ID, and he pull the one. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, you a Scorpio, your birthday coming up. What you want? What kind of cake you want? And then she tells you like, you a lie. Ain't no Scorpios right here, and I'ma hold on to this. You need to find out some information for me on that casino. Meanwhile, we see when Mercedes come home, her mama waiting on her, talking about, yeah, you ain't answer that text. I needed them tithes. She like, you know what? I need my 20 stacks back. She like, oh, you need your little coins back now, your little booty money, huh? And that's just like people, when you need your money back, it's always little then. Meanwhile, we see Haley calling Autumn Night. She calling and get some little info, doing what Uncle Cliffy want, but she did it smooth because she just came and had a little phone sex with this dude and making him play with himself. He done got butt booty naked, end up shooting himself all over the place. I guess if you gonna shoot yourself, that's the best way to shoot yourself. But hey, she getting him in the mood. Pretty soon he gonna be putty in her hands. Now it's time for some real talk. First thing I want to talk about is Mercedes' mama. I think that's pretty messed up how she trying to guilt trip Mercedes into giving that money. And then when Mercedes want her money back, oh, you want your little money back, your little coins. Well, it wasn't little when you needed it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I need it back. 20,000. That ain't little. And Mercedes is showing that she is smart and a businesswoman because she has her own place that we've seen, and she's got enough money, 20,000, to loan her mother, and also she's getting a facility so that she can have a place for these young ladies to dance that is nice and safe. And I think that that's, pretty good that she's trying to transition and use that, like they said, use the stage as a stepping stone and not your tombstone. Meaning if you keep dancing on that stage for too long, you'll get old, and then you won't be able to make that booty money, and you'll be off the stage and then struggling trying to find a job because you ain't had one in so long. And also, I think Pastor Cavassier is bogus for trying to push up on mama to get that money, and trying to bribe her with talking about she could be on the stage leading a sermon or whatever the case. I think that was kind of messed up, but we'll see how that all plays out. And lastly, that brother that don't want to sell the property and actually want to lease it is actually the smartest of everyone, and he figured that he'll be getting that money forever, and when he's gone he could leave that to his children, whereas if you sell, then that's a one-time shot, you done. And that casino, once it's built, would be standing on that ground probably forever. So that would be smart. In the end, I'm interested to see what is all of this that Autumn Night is running from. Who is this dude? Was that her husband, baby daddy, this baby? Where are they? Are they dead? What is with her and all these damn IDs? I'm trying to see how this story is coming together. Right now, I'm kind of on the fence about the show. I love the women, don't get me wrong, and I love that part. But as far as the plot and the storyline, I'm kind of on the fence still, trying to understand what they really trying to tell us about this show. I don't know. In the end, what do you all think in the comments? I'm interested to see what you say. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, and I'll see y'all on the next video. Peace.